Eternity of Pain with the Carina's Volume 3 is aptly named. It is painful, but with some practice, some knowledge, some advice, and some experience, it can actually be fun. I'm starting to actually enjoy it. Now, my videos, I'm gonna show you some tips, some tricks, some stills, and some fight footage to help you save items, to show you what it actually looked like, to show you what we're striving for. But I can say confidently, I'm gonna have very few solos, if any at all. I'm gonna keep my videos as short as possible because I know you wanna get into it. If you've already seen this intro before, because I'm gonna try to get these out for every single challenge, go ahead and look at the timestamps in the description. You can jump straight to my fight advice from my run. But if not, I could not suggest more strongly. You know this, I wanna help you save items and learn from my mistakes and things. There are 3 resources I will be using for every single one of my runs. 1, these incredibly helpful infographics from Cap Murdoch. 2, an incredibly helpful planner from Campo himself. He's got a video explaining it. I will be filling it out before each of my runs to help make sure I don't get stuck. You cannot item man through some of these fights. You could actually get stuck. And 3, a very in-depth guide going over all of the fights, his suggested teams, his suggested champions. He's done it himself, and he's happy to share his advice too, like I'm doing, from none other than Karate Mike. All right, let's go ahead and get to my experience so we can get you onto Eternity of Pain. Go over the robot run. For this one, I highly recommend going to the right. I think you're gonna find a lot of people are gonna recommend that. It does seem to be the easier path, so to speak, and then you're gonna pick which one you're gonna go left. I went right. For the first 4 fights, I utilized the heck out of Hercules. And then for the Crossbones fight, I actually used Omega Sentinel. That was one of my few solos on this. The reason being is she just heals back from the poisons and the bleed and all of that. So she's gonna keep a really nice high health pool. You wanna be mindful of the Bane. This feels like it's going back like 3 or 4 years. There was this path in Alliance War, Higher Tier Alliance War, where you just had to focus on the Bane. Had a lot of practice with that. If you get it down, you're gonna get that fight down. Omega Sentinel and Dragon Man were my MVPs for this. Now, I have mentioned Campo. He utilized Ultron. I took in Warlock. If I could do it all again, I probably would take in Ultron after talking to him. Warlock didn't do a lot for me. He was just there to kind of throw some punches, that sort of thing. But Hercules was phenomenal. I did put on the recoil tree, and I used him for Dormammu, I believe Bishop, and definitely the Overseer there. Using Hercules' SP1 helps me get around the auto block and that sort of thing of the Overseer. Now at the choice node, right? I'm sure you're familiar with what that is now, but you could bring someone else in. You need to do that to fulfill the requirements. I did bring in Warlock. Like I said, I would have liked to have brought in Ultron. The first fight that we'll talk about here is Kraven. That one took me a lot of items. I just didn't realize it. I've since now learned Dragon Man's SP1 with that slow can actually kind of turn off part of the node that's making that very difficult. You want to push Kraven to his SP2. Thanks to Super Sam, he helped me kind of start to get the timing on the punish there. And then once I got that better, the fight did go significantly smoother, but I didn't use Dragon Man the way I probably should have. It's fine. Again, that's why we're doing this, to help get you out there, on there, and saving some items. Now, moving on to Scorpion, I'm gonna quickly show a still. And in there, you can see that with Scorpion's SP1, he's landing all of these poisons on you. Omega Sentinel's just gonna heal up. The fight can take a really long time. You're kind of just gonna go to your SP3, make sure you have a nice full health bar. You're gonna take that initial burst damage from not throwing a special, and then it won't matter anymore. The fight does take a very long time, and I actually did die during it because it was taking so long and I started to make some mistakes. But you can eventually heal back up, go back in, make sure you have the nice full health bar because that burst of damage will happen. Take your time. You're gonna get used to Scorpion's move set. It's very helpful. He does have his evade, but if you keep your armor ups high with Mega Sentinel, she'll handle that for you, so you're good to go. The next one is this fight with Icarus. I'll explain it a little bit while we take a look at the clip. Okay, this was probably, even with my errors against Kraven, this was probably my least favorite fight of the whole thing. Icarus, you can't hit him with the medium, you can't hit him with the light, all this stuff. Having a Mystic is very helpful. But part of what I loved is, look at the nice spacing on this. It took me a little while to get this because you're wanting to bait so many of Icarus's SP1. So I'm going to show you a few of these in a row. You're going to see me make a mistake, and that's fine. But you can see you don't need to back up nearly as much as you think you're going to. Once he does his little twirly bird there, he doesn't come forward much more after that. So you get the spacing down. You can feel really good. He can put that detonate on you. That's what that little star kind of looking thing in the upper left-hand corner is, the debuff on me. That's another reason why I really love Dragon Man, because he's constantly gaining power, which means you're going to have your specials available to you. You can see you're going to then go unblockable and unstoppable, which is really nice. You can, if you can line up, you can get Icarus in the corner and get some of that corner damage going. So you can see it right there. I just wasn't able to take advantage of it. I don't think I actually fully get him in the corner. And that's fine. That's fine. But I wanted you to see that. You're going to do this kind of a bit. There it is with me making the mistake. I backed up a little too much. But that's the essence of this fight. It can take a long time. If you want, you can throw Dragon Man's SP1, get that slow up, which could potentially help you. But this node does have Mighty Charge. So I think you're better off taking your time, getting down the rhythm of that SP1, and then punishing it with your heavy. Do not throw your SP2. You do not want to put Incinerates on Icarus. All right, and then the next fight here is this one versus Penny Parker. There's no natural counter to her with the robot. So it's got a lot of hitting into the block. It's getting that shield down. It's pushing her to SP2. Let's talk about that while we look at the clip, because one of these champions was, in my experience, a lot better than the others for it. Okay, and then I think this one was one of the most surprising for me. Notice this Penny starts at 25% health. We're going to talk through a little bit about how to fight Penny and why Omega Sentinel was a very surprising MVP for me on this fight. I think she's going to take off about 25% health. Now, if you're fighting Penny, you want to hit the block, right? You see those her sync shield there in the upper right-hand corner. It's that passive. You want to get that down. Now, she can only auto block if she's got those Spider Sense charges and the sync shield. So what you're seeing me doing is I'm knocking down the sync shield. Now that that's completely down, and while she did not have both that and a Spider Sense charge, you can freely hit her. But you want to push her to her SP2. The SP1 is what gives her those Spider Sense charges. So you can see that. You can see I blocked a lot of it. It's not that bad. I gave up any thought and hope that I was going to get a solo on this. I don't have a good counter. You just don't with the robots. But you can continue to do this. As you can see, I'm wanting to do everything I can to not tell her AI it's okay to throw the special one. So when I am hitting her, when she's between 1 and 2 bars of power, I'm doing 4-hit combos, and I'm immediately using a light at the end, and I'm immediately holding block. I do not want to have to deal with those Spider Sense charges, because if she's only got 1 right now, she can auto block. You see I'm going to get a little lucky here because I'm going to do some hits. I think maybe I already did it, or I'm about to. Now, the reason Omega Sentinel was a sneaky MVP for this is she has by far the highest attack. We've talked about this in some of my Omega Sentinel videos, is that she has a very, very high just attack. Of course, I'm running the recoil tree, and this is a rank 4, so, you know, keep that in mind. But of the champions that were on there, her attack was by far the highest. I don't think it was a full double, but it was significantly more. And as you can see, I'm not throwing my specials. Penny is Incinerate immune anyways, so that's not really going to do me any good. Plus, I didn't want to take the recoil damage. So just by doing my combos, hitting Penny's block, getting the shield down, trying to push Penny to her SP2 so she doesn't get too many of these. You can see them now, Spider Sense charges. I've really got problems now. I was able to get off about 20% of her health, which I know that sounds bizarre, but honestly, in my run, not that bad. If I could do that each time, I would take it, as far as if I'd had to do this fight over. All right, and then Nameless Thanos, for me, it's, you know, I wish you could practice him more, but you can't. By the time you get there, you're not backing out, right? Dragon Man was an absolute MVP for me. We're going to talk about the fight while we look at the clip. And then last, Dragon Man and Penny, or Dragon Man and Mega Sentinel were my absolute MVPs. The reason why I like Dragon Man so much for this fight, again, was his power gain. We talked about this so many times when we talk about the niceness of Dragon Man, what makes him so good. And the reason is because you need to do this intercept. You see, we got that intercept there, and you have a very, very small amount of time where that indestructible comes off of Thanos. Now, you want to do the intercept so that you can get your own safeguard there, the purple safeguard in the upper left-hand corner. But also, that's what knocks down the indestructible for Nameless Thanos, giving you the opportunity to do damage. You stay close to him, you're going to get those armor breaks, and then you want to have a special ready, because that's your chance right there. I had the intercept, it took down the indestructible. I have to throw a special in order to do damage. It's not going to do a ton. I don't have that many armor breaks up that transfer over to Thanos. That's fine. It was enough. That's why I liked Dragon Man. That's my advice on it. Being unstoppable and blockable sure is helpful, gives a little confidence inducing. I definitely didn't solo this fight. It took me quite a few items, quite a few runs, but that's it. That's my advice. When you do your robot, do what you can, use Dragon Man. He's going to help you out, and you're always going, there might be a time where you don't, but you're going to have a great chance of always having a special available for you when you absolutely need it and you've landed that nice intercept and you can do some damage on Thanos. And then that was the robot run. It honestly wasn't that bad once I knew what I was doing, and that's what I'm hoping to do for you here. Make sure you check out all the resources I have mentioned. They will all be linked in the description, and I hope my advice, my fight clips, kind of so you can see what we're talking about, is very, very helpful to you. Good luck out there. Let me know how it goes. Let me know who you pull and who you're hoping to get for that rank 4-5 gem. I know, I can't wait to finally get it myself. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.
I hope you either learned something, were entertained, or even better, a little bit of both. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.